My precious beloved, before you try to shape this year, understand something deeper. 2026 is not here to be built by force. It is here to reveal. Reveal what has been forming inside you all along, through patience, through pain, through silence, through moments where nothing seemed to move, yet everything was changing. You think this year is about outcomes. It is about exposure. Exposure not to shame you, but to show you. To show you the strength you built without realizing it. To show you the boundaries you learned to respect quietly. To show you the discernment you earned through disappointment. To show you the courage that formed while you were simply trying to survive. 2026 will not ask what do you want. It will ask who have you become. And that question cannot be answered with plans alone. My beloved, for a long time you were becoming something without applause. While others saw pauses, delays, and uncertainty, something steady was forming beneath the surface. You were learning to sit with discomfort instead of escaping it. You were learning to feel without collapsing. You were learning to pause instead of react. These are not small developments. They are foundations. Most people think becoming happens when life improves. But becoming happens when life tests. When you are stripped of certainty. When familiar identities stop working. When you are asked to choose truth without guarantees. You were in that place. That staying changed you. My beloved, 2026 will not tolerate pretending. It will not reward surface effort built on inner confusion. It will magnify alignment and expose misalignment, gently at first, firmly if ignored. This is not a threat. It is an invitation. An invitation to live from what you've already learned, instead of returning to old habits out of fear. You have outgrown some patterns you still carry out of habit. You have outgrown some fears you still listen to out of familiarity. You have outgrown some roles you still play because they once kept you safe. This year will show you not with punishment, but with contrast. Things that once felt normal will begin to feel heavy. Things that once excited you will begin to feel empty. Things that once frightened you will begin to feel manageable. This is revelation, my beloved. Revelation does not come suddenly. It unfolds through daily moments. Through the pause before you answer, through the decision to leave earlier, through the refusal to over-explain, through the choice to rest instead of push. 2026 will respond to these small decisions more than to any declaration. You may feel a quiet seriousness about this year. Not anxiety, seriousness, as if something matters more now. That feeling is accurate. You are no longer experimenting with life. You are embodying what you know. Embodiment is when wisdom moves from thought into behavior. And 2026 will reveal exactly how embodied you have become. My beloved, you spent years learning lessons you did not ask for. Lessons about patience when answers were slow. Lessons about boundaries when kindness was taken for granted. Lessons about self-trust when guidance felt absent. You did not waste those years. You integrated them. That integration is what this year will reveal. Do not rush to impress the year. The year is watching how you live when no one is watching. How you treat your energy, how you speak to yourself when you fall short, how you choose when pressure rises. This is the language 2026 understands. My beloved, there is a reason this year feels different already. It is not because circumstances changed. It is because you did. You no longer chase the same validations. You no longer tolerate the same confusion. You no longer romanticize struggle the way you once did. You are becoming someone who values peace over proving, clarity over chaos, truth over familiarity, and 2026 will make that visible. You may notice that things align more quickly now or fall away faster. That is not instability. That is refinement. When awareness increases, tolerance decreases. Life responds by reorganizing. This year will not drag you slowly. It will ask you to decide cleanly. Clean decisions feel calm, not dramatic. They feel obvious, not loud. My beloved, do not fear what this year will reveal. You have been preparing for it without knowing. The parts of you that survived confusion, loss, and waiting did not disappear. They matured. Maturity is quiet power. You are no longer here to chase every possibility. You are here to honor what aligns. And alignment reveals itself through peace, not intensity. As this year unfolds, you may feel moments where you realize, I can't live like that anymore. Those moments are not resistance. They are recognition. Recognition of who you are becoming. Let recognition guide you. You may also feel moments of grief for the person you once were. That grief is natural. You are saying goodbye to identities that kept you safe once. Thank them. Then release them. Gratitude closes chapters cleanly. My beloved, 2026 will also reveal your capacity. Not your tolerance for pain, your capacity for stability, for consistency, for choosing yourself without guilt. That is real strength. You do not need to make this year dramatic. You need to make it honest. Honesty in how you show up. Honesty in what you commit to. Honesty in what you walk away from. This honesty will protect you from repeating cycles. My beloved, when the year begins to reflect back to you the person you've been becoming, do not be surprised. Do not doubt it. Do not sabotage it out of disbelief. Receive it. You are allowed to receive the fruits of inner work even if no one saw you doing it. My beloved, now listen carefully because revelation has two faces. 2026 will reveal what you've been becoming whether you like it or not. Not to punish you, but to be honest with you. A year like this does not allow divided living. It does not tolerate pretending. It responds quickly to alignment and exposes misalignment without delay. If you try to live this year from old patterns, it will show you immediately. If you return to overgiving, exhaustion will arrive faster. If you return to silence when truth is needed, resentment will surface sooner. If you return to urgency, anxiety will tighten its grip quickly. If you return to distraction, emptiness will feel louder than before. This is not cruelty. This is clarity. In earlier years, you could stay misaligned longer without consequence. You could numb, distract, delay, explain. But 2026 does not work that way. The more aware you become, the less tolerance life has for what drains you. This is how growth announces itself. My beloved, you may notice that situations escalate faster this year. Conversations come to a point sooner. Choices demand clarity without prolonged ambiguity. That is because life is no longer willing to negotiate with half-truths. You are being asked to live congruently where your thoughts, words, and actions begin to agree. Congruence feels uncomfortable at first because it removes your escape routes, but it also removes confusion. If something is not right, you will feel it quickly. If something is aligned, you will feel peace without needing proof. This is the inner compass strengthening. My beloved, 2026 will expose one thing above all: self-betrayal. The moment you ignore your intuition, the body will react. The moment you say yes when your soul says no, fatigue will appear. The moment you stay where you are diminished, clarity will fade. This is not punishment. This is guidance becoming embodied. You are no longer being taught only through thought. You are being taught through experience in real time. This is why this year feels serious, not heavy, serious. It asks for responsibility without pressure. It asks you to honor what you know. You can no longer pretend you didn't see the sign. My beloved, some people will resist this year. They will call it unstable, intense, or uncomfortable. But the discomfort does not come from life. It comes from resisting truth. When you stop resisting, the year softens. Alignment makes this year gentle. Misalignment makes it loud. This is the law of awareness. You may also notice that old coping mechanisms stop working. Distraction no longer distracts fully. Busyness no longer brings relief. Validation no longer satisfies. These tools worked when you were unconscious. They do not work when you are awake. Life is inviting you into presence. Presence is where peace lives. Presence is where you respond instead of react. My beloved, if you choose alignment, this year will feel supportive. Not easy, but supportive. You will feel guided. You will feel protected from repeating cycles. You will feel steadier even when challenges arise. If you ignore alignment, the year will feel exhausting. Not because life is harsh, but because you are pulling against your own growth. Do not fight what is trying to help you mature. Another thing 2026 will expose is false urgency, the need to hurry, to fix, to prove, to catch up. When you rush this year, things will feel chaotic. When you slow down intentionally, things will arrange themselves. Urgency belongs to fear. Alignment belongs to trust. Trust does not mean waiting passively. It means acting from clarity instead of panic. My beloved, this year will also expose where you are still seeking permission. Permission to rest, permission to speak, permission to choose differently. You will feel friction wherever you outsource authority over your life. That friction is asking you to reclaim it. You are allowed to choose without consensus. You are allowed to change without explanation. You are allowed to protect your peace without apology. This year will not wait for you to feel ready. It will meet you where you are honest. My beloved, some relationships may shift quickly this year. Not because people are bad, but because alignment rearranges connections. Where you grow, not everyone can follow at the same pace. Let this happen without drama. Do not cling to familiarity. Do not fear distance. Trust reorganization. Life is not removing support. It is refining it. You may also feel a stronger pull towards simplicity. Less noise, less clutter. This is not withdrawal. It is integration. Your nervous system is learning safety. Safety allows growth without force. My beloved, understand this deeply. 2026 is not trying to take anything from you. It is trying to show you who you already are. It will mirror your inner state back to you quickly and honestly. If you live aligned, the mirror will feel kind. If you resist, the mirror will feel sharp. The mirror itself is neutral. So choose alignment. Alignment does not require perfection. It requires responsiveness. When you notice misalignment, adjust gently. When you feel truth, follow it calmly. When you fall short, return quickly. Returning is the skill that makes revelation a gift instead of a burden. My beloved, do not fear what this year will reveal. You have been preparing for it through every quiet choice. Every pause, every moment you chose awareness over escape. You are ready, my beloved. Now we speak about how to live this year consciously, so what is revealed becomes strength instead of struggle. Revelation alone does not change a life. Response does. What you do with what is shown to you will decide how this year feels in your body, your mind, and your spirit. To live consciously in 2026, you must first accept this truth. Awareness has increased, so responsibility has increased too. Not responsibility as pressure, responsibility as ownership. You can no longer say, "I didn't know." You feel misalignment faster. Now you sense truth sooner. That sensitivity is not a burden. It is a gift that must be honored. Conscious living begins with slowing your inner speed. The world will try to rush you. Opinions will pull you. Noise will compete for your attention, but your power this year lies in how often you pause. A pause before reacting, a pause before committing. A pause before judging yourself. Pauses create choice. Choice creates freedom. When you pause, You allow wisdom to lead instead of habit. My beloved, another key to conscious living is responding instead of reacting. Reaction belongs to the past, to survival, to fear, to conditioning. Response belongs to presence. Response asks, what aligns with who I am now? This year you will feel the difference instantly. Reactions will leave you drained. Responses will leave you steady. Choose steadiness. Conscious living also means ending cycles at the first signal, not after collapse. In the past, you stayed too long. You waited for certainty. You hoped things would change on their own. In 2026, the signal comes earlier. A tightening in the chest, a heaviness in the body, a quiet resistance. Honor the signal. You do not need dramatic reasons to change direction. You need honesty. My beloved, to live consciously this year, you must also release the need to be understood by everyone. Seeking understanding often pulls you back into explaining, justifying, defending. This drains energy and delays alignment. Understanding is welcome. Approval is optional. When you stop trying to be understood, your life becomes simpler. Another essential practice is choosing fewer commitments and honoring them deeply. Conscious living is not about doing more. It is about doing what matters with integrity. Overcommitment scatters energy and creates guilt. Simplicity restores focus and self-trust. Make fewer promises. Keep them consistently. This consistency will reveal who you've been becoming more than any achievement. Trust the calm, my beloved. To live consciously, you must also let go of outcomes you cannot control. You will do your part. Show up honestly. Act with integrity. Choose alignment. And then you will release the rest. Control creates tension. Trust creates flow. Trust does not mean doing nothing. It means doing what is yours and releasing what is not. My beloved, one of the strongest signs that you are living consciously is this. You stop abandoning yourself under pressure. You no longer rush to please. You no longer silence your truth. You no longer sacrifice peace for familiarity. You stay. You stay with discomfort long enough to learn from it. You stay with truth long enough to act on it. You stay with yourself even when it feels unfamiliar. This staying is what makes revelation a blessing instead of a burden. As you live this way, 2026 will feel less like a test and more like a mirror that reflects strength. Back to you. You will recognize yourself in your choices. You will trust yourself more deeply. You will move with clarity instead of fear. This is how the year reveals what you've been becoming. Not all at once, but moment by moment through conscious response. My beloved, 2026 will not ask you to reinvent yourself. It will ask you to be faithful to what is already formed within you. You have been becoming someone quieter, not weaker. Someone steadier, not slower. Someone clearer, not colder. And now the year reflects that back to you. When revelation arrives, Receive it without arrogance and without disbelief. Arrogance rushes ahead. Disbelief pulls you backward. Stand in the middle, grounded, grateful, present. You do not need to announce your growth. You do not need to defend it. You do not need to test it. Live it. My beloved, there will be moments this year when you recognize yourself in a choice you make. A calm no, a patient pause, a gentle return to alignment. When that happens, acknowledge it quietly. Let pride be soft. Let gratitude be real. Quiet recognition deepens integration. You may also face moments where old versions of you try to resurface, not because you failed, but because familiarity is persuasive. When that happens, do not fight. Fighting creates resistance. Simply notice and choose differently. Choosing differently is the proof. Remember this always. Becoming is not erased by momentary missteps. It is strengthened by honest returns. Each time you return to truth, you reinforce who you are now. My beloved, stand in your becoming without apology. You are allowed to be less available. You are allowed to be more discerning. You are allowed to move at a pace that protects your peace. This is not withdrawal. This is alignment. Witnessing is wisdom. My beloved, receive what 2026 reveals with humility. If it reveals strength, do not boast. If it reveals misalignment, do not collapse. Both are gifts. Strength confirms. Misalignment corrects. Together they guide you. Do not compare your revelation with anyone else's. Comparison distorts clarity. Your path reveals what you have been. Becoming, not what others display. Trust your reflection. As you move forward, hold this one truth close and let it guide every choice gently. When decisions arise, ask, does this honor who I am becoming? When fear whispers, ask, what would alignment choose now? These questions will keep you steady. My beloved, this year will end one day quietly like all years do. When it does, may you look back and recognize yourself not only in outcomes, but in integrity, in the way you stayed, in the way you chose, in the way you lived awake. That recognition will be worth more than any result. Walk forward now with calm authority. Let the year reveal you. Let truth lead you. Let peace confirm you. I am with you not as urgency, not as pressure, but as the quiet clarity that rises whenever you pause and listen. My beloved, live what has been revealed. Thanks for watching Krishna Says. Subscribe for more.